I'm Danielle, your host of the Abridged to Motherhood podcast, the place where moms like you learn to thrive, not just survive through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. I'm a birth and postpartum doula and a mom of two who's been where you are. My first pregnancy was filled with so much excitement, but it was also marked by stress, anxiety, and fear of the unknown. I thought I had everything mapped out, but when postpartum hit, I realized how unprepared I was for the physical, emotional, and mental toll of motherhood. It was overwhelming, lonely, and nothing like I imagined. When I found out I was pregnant again, I knew I needed to approach things differently. I made it my mission to not only prepare for postpartum, but to prioritize myself in the process. That shift changed everything. Now I'm here to help you do the same. Whether you're navigating your first pregnancy, feeling buried under endless advice, or struggling to figure out what you actually need for postpartum, this podcast is your safe space. You'll find practical tips, honest conversations, and expert insights to help you feel informed, supported, and empowered through every stage of motherhood. If you're ready to feel confident, prepared, and truly supported in your motherhood journey, stick around. This is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to the Abridged to Motherhood podcast. I'm so excited. This is our first ever video podcast. I can't believe I finally figured it out. And I'm so excited for you to hear my conversation today. I have Nina Spears on the podcast. She is the CEO and founder of Baby Chick. She's a trusted pregnancy and parenting platform that supports millions of families with expert-backed education and resources. She's a certified baby planner, birth doula, postpartum doula, childbirth educator, newborn care specialist, infant massage instructor, podcast host, and now an author of the Baby Chick Guide to Positive Pregnancy. She's been working with families for more than 15 years, has supported over 800 families in person and thousands virtually through her work. So she is a wealth of knowledge. And before we dive into our conversation today, I want to let you know that she has this amazing giveaway going on right now. If you pre-order her book, you can pre-order on Amazon, Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, wherever you like to buy books. Take a screenshot of your receipt. You can go to her website, baby-chick.com, and submit your receipt. And their giveaway is over $5,500 worth of free baby products. So if you are pregnant, if you know someone that is pregnant, if you plan on becoming pregnant soon, I mean, you got to enter this giveaway. I was like, can I be pregnant so I can enter it? Like, just incredible stuff from brands. We had a great conversation. I felt like I was talking to myself in a lot of ways. Like, she's just such a wealth of knowledge. She loves moms. She loves supporting families. And so I really hope that you enjoy our conversation today. Nina, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. You are just a wealth of knowledge. You've supported hundreds of families as a doula and an educator. So what are some of what you would call the biggest surprises moms encounter when they come into motherhood?
Oh man, yeah, Danielle. Well, first, let me just say thank you so much for having me on here. This is so much fun. I've been looking forward to this chat. And I'm just so grateful to have this conversation. But yes, oh my goodness, when it comes to surprises, I feel like there's a lot of surprises when it comes to motherhood. But I think one of the biggest surprises, you asking me this question, I think women recognize life is going to change. Like they're going to have less sleep and more responsibility and all of that. But I think what catches a lot of women off guard is like how much they are actually going to change. Because, becoming you're not just birthing this baby. That's I think the visible part, and what's the invisible part is you birthing the mother inside you. And I think that's when your priorities are shifting, and really that first year and beyond, but especially that first year after you have a baby, just recognizing, oh man, my relationships are changing. What really matters to me might change, and pushing away selfishness and like growing into this mother that you were destined to be. And I think that can be like, oh my gosh, I miss parts of my old life, but I love my child more than anything, and I would never go back. It's so like weird to experience all of these things. So I think that's the biggest thing is how much it changes you. Because again, we prepare for all the stuff and preparing for taking care of the baby. But I think the biggest surprise is like, oh, I need to start taking care of me even more because I am growing into this new person that I've never met before.
Yes, I always say that motherhood is like the most refining thing that I've ever done. Um, because
It's
like you
true.
said, you're every ounce of selfishness in your body is just removed from you when
For
you become a
sure.
mom. Yeah.
For sure. And for some, it might take some time. Like you don't immediately, like some people are like, "Oh, I just fell in love with my baby." And oh,
Mhm.
I was like, "It's nice to meet you. Hi. Hi. We're gonna get to know each other. I like you. You seem cool." And so, for the moms who listen to that and they're like, "Oh, I don't relate." Like that's okay too. I think that's another thing is like recognizing we all have our own path, but making sure that you find people who can, support you however your journey unfolds.
Yeah. I talk about this a lot on the podcast, and I know this is what you talk about a lot too. So we spend a lot of time preparing for the baby, right?
Oh, yeah.
Getting our registry together in the nursery, but not necessarily for becoming a mother. So when you
Yes.
talk about that, what do you mean?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes, Danielle. Yeah. After supporting families for, gosh, now more than 15 years, I've really noticed that, like you said, women spend months preparing for the baby, like researching the strollers and cribs and car seats and baby monitors and bottles and pacifiers and nursery themes. Like those are all like the fun stuff. And people look forward to that because that's been glamorized about like, oh, because pregnancy is hard. So you need some fun things to like look forward to and get excited about. But like we're saying, many people, you know, they are not spending that same amount of time or even remotely close to that time preparing for birth, postpartum recovery, sleep deprivation, relationship changes, not only maybe with your partner, but with like your friendships around you, maybe
Hmm.
breastfeeding challenges if you choose to breastfeed, or like just the emotional transition into motherhood. Those are things they're not they're not something that you can put a pretty bow around, and they're not sometimes the most comfortable conversations. They this is where you're really challenging yourself and growing and learning. And like I get it, the baby is real and tangible and you can see the baby, but becoming a mother is this bigger transformation and usually the more challenging one. So, yeah, the baby isn't the only one, again, being born. Like a mother is being born here too. And that's where I think many women need more support.
Absolutely. You mentioned a lot of topics, right, surrounding that, like our relationships, our sleep deprivation, those types of things. But if you could tell a mom who's pregnant right now, like if you're going to plan for postpartum,
Yeah.
maybe like what would be like the top two or three things that you would be like, this is like where you
Yes.
should focus your attention?
I think I would tell them to spend, again, less time worrying about the baby gear. Like, honestly, the baby really doesn't need that much stuff. Like, all the other stuff, it makes it convenient and nice, but I want you to really take more time thinking about what support you really want and that is going to help you that you need to have after having this baby. So, like, for example, ask yourself like who's bringing meals, who's going to be checking in on me, who can help if breastfeeding is harder than I expected, who can come and help to make sure that I'm getting enough like nourishment and support, and rest. I would just spend a lot more time preparing for that and having those conversations. And that's why like I am so big on writing a birth plan because we now actually are seeing more evidence that shows that it does help improve birth outcomes. But not only that, spending just as much time, if not more, on a postpartum plan, because that is where you're going to really walk through, what should I be considering? And who are these people that can be my village after I have this baby? because you really need it. And I would also spend time preparing the partner. I think like one of the biggest mistakes we make is just assuming mom is going to learn everything and then just teach everybody everything else. And unfortunately, that happens so often then that moms only think that they can do it right. And I've walked into homes as a postpartum doula and they're like, no, 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 you're doing it wrong to the partner. And then the partner just is like, well, I give up because I can never do it right. So I'm just going to let her do everything. And then that's how like more default parenting happens. So sometimes we have to step back, like let partners learn on their own and figure things out too, just like you are, and being okay with that as long as, safety is involved. But also starting this process in pregnancy. Like you shouldn't be carrying this invisible load in pregnancy. Like this is a partnership. They should also be doing their research and participating and understanding like your wants and needs so that they can advocate for you. So again, it's really also preparing the partner because again, like parenthood shouldn't be just one person's responsibility. Your partner should also be learning right alongside you.
I see that as well as a postpartum doula. And I love seeing, I've had a lot of families that hire me. It's the dad that's the biggest advocate for having me come because he
Oh,
understands that his wife needs that
yes.
support. And, he's
Yes.
going back to work in 5 days or 10 days, whatever, and wants
Yeah,
to make sure that she's supported. But I love seeing when the dads are like all in on our prenatals and they want to know all of the things because it's amazing to see that partnership. It, like you said,
totally.
because if you don't have that partnership, you totally do. We were like that with our first baby. I just kind of took over and told him what to do. And then second baby, it was like, oh no, because like now we have two. And not
Yeah,
only that,
divide and conquer.
but not only that, he then understood what he needed to do. But I
For
wish I
sure.
would have, you know, involved him more in
Yeah.
the process that first time around.
But so many of us make that, because we just want to be the best mom. So we think we have to
Oh,
do
100%.
everything. So we have to
Mm-hmm.
learn it all and do it right and all these kinds of things. And then realizing, like, oh my gosh, honestly, doing it right is making sure that I don't have to do everything, you
Mm,
know?
yes. So good. So good. And you mentioned we were talking about birth plans and postpartum plans. So you're also a birth doula. I'd love to talk about birth too.
Yeah.
I do a lot of focus on postpartum on the podcast, but I love birth. So let's talk about preparing for birth as
Okay.
well. Like how obviously I think there's a lot of information out there about like how to prepare your body, right?
Hmm.
But talk about like that mindset before birth, like the emotions and and all of that preparing for birth, coming in. What does that look like on your birth plan? Because I think we talk a lot about like, okay, yes, I want continuous monitoring, or I don't, or I want to have movement, or I want to have an epidural, but that emotional piece doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. That's, I think, something that really I've noticed that I'm a bit different than like the standard, you know, birth doula education type of things. Because while birth education is so important, like, yes, we need to know your alternatives and the benefits and risks to things and so that you can advocate and really make sure that the choices that you're making really align with your goals and values for birth. But oh my gosh, the emotional side of things, like recognizing how much the nervous system plays a huge part into all of this, and that our mindset, like our minds are so incredibly powerful. If you are walking into birth fearful, which let's be real. I mean, I've been to over 350 births. And even when I was pregnant with both of my kids, I was a little afraid because you don't know what you're walking into. But at the end of the day, I knew that I had picked the the best people to be around me so that I wouldn't have to be so strong. Like, I'm not like when birth doesn't ask you to go in fearless, it just asks you to be brave and to surround yourself with the people that are going to completely understand what you want and support what you want and advocate for what you want and respect you and hear you and make sure that this is a collaborative experience rather than something that just happens to you, you know? And I think that you're right. The emotional side just does not get talked enough about. And that's where I think trauma can really come in because I don't think a positive birth is necessarily achieving one type of outcome. It's really about how the woman was respected and treated and included and just that whole emotional side of things because sometimes you won't remember every little detail about your birth but you will for sure remember how you felt and how others made you feel and that is going to stay with you forever. So absolutely, I couldn't agree more with you, Danielle. That's a major key when it comes to birth is the emotional side.
And I'd love to just, as we're talking about this, right? You have this new book out. It's all about positive pregnancy. So let's talk about that. Like, you're talking all about having a more positive pregnancy, birth, and postpartum experience. And I'm curious, like, you obviously chose this title, right? Like, what does that mean to you, that positive pregnancy?
So I think, just like I said, positive doesn't necessarily mean one exact experience. It really just means to me that you are informed, you feel prepared, you feel supported, you've gotten together the support that you need so that you can walk through each stage with so much more confidence. Because I think a more positive birth and a more positive postpartum starts in pregnancy. Honestly, it can start even before then, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, young women aren't really thinking about like, oh, I should be preparing for my baby and becoming a mom before I even conceive. Most people start thinking about these things when they're trying to conceive or are pregnant. And so that's why I wanted to name it like positive pregnancy because when we start designating to our partner, hey, these are things that you can do to help me throughout my pregnancy and be an equal participant and also just a more holistic look at pregnancy rather than like, yes, my honestly, like my book is basically like a doula and a baby planner in book form and it's a roadmap of what you can be thinking about and considering and what your options are and questions to ask. And I was like, if people can't hire me as their baby planner, like here, just get the book and follow along, and you'll be like, oh, I didn't even consider that. That's so cool. I didn't know this or whatnot. But it's also, like I'm saying, holistic because I want you to be nourishing your body. And because I also include like recipes in there, I want you to be moving your body. We have so much evidence of how beneficial movement is, not only for mom, but for baby too. So I have workouts in there and then also meditation, like getting our mindset and I have journal prompts and really just making sure that we are taking care of the mother more than just like here's the information about the baby. And I just felt like a lot of things are so medical, like this is what we need to learn, but also just looking at her as a whole woman and supporting her through that because again, having a more positive birth and postpartum really starts with pregnancy, nourishing her and giving her that support and looking at her the whole picture. That's what we need to be focusing on is because I think that when we take care of moms, we are taking care of our babies. And when moms are thriving and flourishing, like everybody benefits, Danielle. Like the partner benefits, the baby benefits, the house benefits. I've said this on other podcasts. Like I truly believe like the way to world peace is by taking care of mothers. We are the portal to life, and to have happier, healthier babies and a better next generation. It's all about taking care of moms.
Couldn't agree with you more. Could not agree with you more. Um, and what do you hope your readers take away from your book after they read it? How do you want
Oh
them to
gosh.
feel when they walk away?
I want them to feel so much more, so much more confident and like, wow, I had no idea about all of these things that were available to me and that I could be thinking about and conversations that I can be having with my care provider and with my partner. And it's again like like we were talking about, we prepare so much for the baby, but really being able to prepare you for this matrescence, that's the thing. Now, thankfully, I think more people are hearing this term matrescence, which is like this evolution of you becoming a mother from maiden to mother and supporting that journey and understanding what that can look like and making it a better one for you. So that's what I want is that women feeling like, gosh, my pregnancy, I just felt a lot more organized. I felt supported. I felt like informed. And I just felt like I was prepared for the next step in my life and entering into motherhood.
Yeah, I literally just had a podcast with my mom. She came on because we were talking about my postpartum journey through depression and
Oh,
anxiety, and she's Gen X, like cusp, she's just Gen X. And she was saying just how much, her generation, they just didn't talk about these things. And
no.
I love that we're talking about it. And I
Yeah.
hope that by doing this, we're changing the narrative for our daughters too. Because
Yes.
I think our generation is the first that's really like, oh, like mom matters too. Like we need to take care of ourselves instead of just pushing everything on the back burner because that's what women have done forever and ever.
Forever.
Yes.
Yes. Totally agree with you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, because everyone cares about the baby. Babies are
Mhm.
so cute and they're
Of
so
course.
fragile and so, dependent. And mom, like, you're an adult, like, get it together. But I'm sorry, like, when in your life are you going to go through something more physically transformative? You're leaking from every orifice. Your hormones, like you'll never go through like a hormonal change like this until you're like in menopause, but then also have lack of sleep, maybe not eating right. Like there's just so many things
So many
that
things.
are going on. Like, no, I'm sorry. She deserves more support. And again, Danielle, that's why it's so fun connecting with postpartum doulas like you who are like making a difference for mothers and women in general. So and little girls hopefully watching this and recognizing like, wow, yeah, I matter. I'm not saying me first. I'm saying me too. I'm saying
Yes.
that I also matter. Yes, my baby is important and oh my goodness, I would do anything for this child, but me too. I also matter and a big part of this equation.
Yeah. And like you said, the healthier we are, the healthier baby is because we are
Yes.
better able to take care of our baby and not just meet their physical needs because anybody can do that. But as mom,
Yeah.
we have to be able to meet their emotional needs, their mental needs. And in order to do that, we need a calm nervous system.
Amen. Yeah, no one really prepares you for like, oh my gosh, your child is running around and losing their mind and you have to learn how to calm your nervous system even though you want to freak out too and then respond to that because that was something that we were never taught. Our parents never talked about these kinds of things and so we didn't prepare for them, but now I'm really happy to see like you're saying, like the narrative shift and people are recognizing, oh, I I need to be controlling it's not my kid that's the problem. It's not my baby that's the problem. It's me. It's me recognizing that I need to learn how to calm my nervous system and that I need to respond to these stimuli a little differently. And that's, a learning curve. And that's also when you're saying a struggle, that's something else that I really recognize is like, oh, wow, I have some inner work that I need to do too. And that's, again, becoming a parent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in order to do that, having that strong support system is so important. And do you talk about that in the book too, about building your support system? Because I know you talk a lot about the partner
Oh,
too.
yeah. Oh,
So can
yeah.
you go into that a little bit more?
Oh, absolutely. And this isn't like new news. Like we live in such an atomized world. Like before we used to live in communities and villages where we would learn from like our mothers, our aunties, our grandmothers and have all of this like history and knowledge. Well, we don't do that anymore. So now you either have to like kind of build your own little village or you have to buy it, by hiring a postpartum doula, by hiring a lactation consultant, pelvic floor therapist, maybe a postpartum therapist if you're having like any mental health issues. I mean, thankfully, there are so many wonderful women out there that are available that we can now build that village. And so when people are like, "Oh, well, I hate that I have to like buy my village," I want to just say like the village was never free, ever. We always it was always give and take. It was always, helping one another. So also be a villager. Don't just look for your village. Make sure that you are also that village for others. And and yeah, so I'm really big on, so whenever people are like, "Oh, Nina, like what are like some of your favorite like baby things or like postpartum must-haves?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have a list of those, but can I just be for real? Like for real, real? It's knowledge, getting the education, and support. Like those are the main two things that I think every mother needs. And so if you don't already have that village, we were just talking about like it's summer and my kids are like at grandma and grandpa's, and some people they don't have grandma and grandpa's to do that too. And I feel for that. I work with a lot of people around here in Houston that are expats. They have zero friends or family close by, and so they have to kind of build their own village. And so I want to say like also we live right now, gosh, Danielle, it's like loneliness epidemic to the highest degree. So many women are saying how lonely they are. So I want to say, like, then pick up the phone and reach out, because I guarantee there's another mom who is feeling the exact same thing. But for some reason, when we're in this like bubble of loneliness, like we can't, for some reason, reach out and be like, "Hey, do you want to go on a walk? Do you want to go to the park? Do you want to go to the library? Can I come over? Do you want to come over?" Whatever it is, reach out, because people aren't just going to show up at your door. You have to ask for it. And I know that that's a lot. Like for me, I'm a millennial. I think the hardest thing I've ever had to do is like ask for help when I became a mom, because I don't want to appear like I'm incapable. Because no, I got this, Danielle. I can do this. Like, hello, I'm a doula. Like, I should be able to do this with my eyes closed. But no, like everybody deserves that support. So definitely is something that I bring up a lot, because they're like, "What's your hack?" I'm like, "There's no hack. It's called support."
Yes, 100%, 100%. We keep talking about if we are going to have a third baby or not, and I will
Aw.
1000% be hiring myself a postpartum doula.
Amen. I had doulas as well. People are like, "Wait, didn't you just doula yourself?" And I'm like, "That's not how that works."
No, that's not how that works at all. And as a doula, we know how much we love our clients and we give to them.
Yes.
And I would do anything to support the moms that I work with. And so I think just knowing that and knowing that mentality of a doula, I'm like, of course I want someone like that in my corner. Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't I?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And they have so many resources and so many connections, and they have the training to like look for certain things that you might be
Hmm.
thinking or feeling or experiencing. So again, you don't have to like constantly be in this like thinking brain. You can just rest and
Yes.
recover and be supported. Like that's what it's about.
Which is such a gift to not have to be doing all the thinking. Yes.
I know. As a mom, like that's just something that we take on way too much.
Yes. I always ask my guests at the end, like if there's one little piece of advice or word of wisdom, encouragement that you would want to leave with a mom who's listening today, maybe who's especially like struggling, what would you say to
Yeah.
her?
What I would say to her is the same thing that I would say to me. I think that, we've always been taught to be the good girl, to listen, to not speak up, and we need to be perfect, because productivity sometimes will equate to our success or our value or our worth, and this is not the time for that, like at all. Like I've supported more than 800 families in person and thousands virtually, and from all different backgrounds. And I've never met the perfect mom. We're all amazing mothers. There's a million ways to be such an incredible mother, but there's no such thing as perfection. So please let that go. Stop being so hard on yourself. And I've met so many loving moms, dedicated moms. Yes, exhausted, but moms who worry they're not doing enough, and when they're actually like doing the most incredible thing ever. So again, just try not to be so hard on yourself. Like, just make sure, yes, you're giving your baby love and presence, but also be there for yourself. Like, give yourself that compassion and that time and that patience, because your baby, they need a mother who gives herself grace while she's learning and growing too. Because, motherhood is just not something you arrive at one day. It's something that you figure out and grow from and you learn every day. And it's a relationship, it's a journey. And we're all going through it as we go. So that's what I'd share, my little piece of advice for a new mom.
Thank you so much for those words of wisdom, Nina. I hope that every new mom really can take that to heart. But please tell her where she can find you and where she can get your book.
Oh, absolutely. So, the easiest place to find all my information, including my book, is really my website. My website is baby-chick.com. If you're wondering, like, baby chick, what is that? Like, no, I don't talk about farm animals, I swear. I'm just the chick that works with moms and babies. So, I've become the baby chick. So, if you go to baby-chick.com, you'll be able to see all my social media, my articles, my podcast, and my book and course, all of those kinds of things. So it's pretty simple. Go on there, or you can find me on Instagram at the baby chick.
Thank you so much again, Nina.
Oh, thank you so much, Danielle. You as well.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Abridged to Motherhood podcast. I'm so glad you were here today. If you loved this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review for the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on. Share it with a friend or snap a screenshot and tag me on social media. If you decide to leave me a review, go to abridgedomotherhood.com/review. That link is also in the show notes so that I can send you a little gift in the mail. Your support helps other moms to find the podcast, and it truly means the world to me. Remember, your motherhood journey deserves your care and attention. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself, mama, and don't worry, I'm here to help every step of the way. See you soon.